Urien, younger brother to Gil and the malevolent vice president of a secret society, returns to Street Fighter suited and booted. Urien's fighting style is potentially based on the ancient Greek Olympic sport pankration, similar to his brother Gil. Whilst Gil possesses fire and ice, Urien wields lightning and has the ability to make his body metallic. In Street Fighter V, Urien keeps his moves from the Street Fighter III games with extra additions. Moves that were once specials and supers are now V-skills and V-triggers, making him quite deadly and versatile, which in turn makes the enraged Tyrant one of the more entertaining characters to watch and play. Urien gets a ton of mileage from his buttons, but one of his most dominant buttons is his standing medium punch. This is a fantastic offensive button. It's Urien's main combo starter, a pressure tool, and can also be used to counter certain attacks in neutral. If Urien manages to score a counter hit with this, then it leads to an abundance of damage and momentum. Another troublesome button Urien has is his crouching medium kick. Its primary use is to work as a poking tool in the mid-range, but if Urien hits the crouching medium kick close enough, then he gets a full combo, counter hit or not. But when certain resources are available, then crouching medium kick becomes one of the scariest buttons in the game due to its range. Urien needs to be careful with the spacing of crouching medium kick though, as it has huge recovery if it doesn't connect with the opponent. When it comes to projectiles in Street Fighter V, Urien probably has one of the better ones in the game with his metallic sphere. This can be thrown out on the ground at two different speeds via the light and medium versions, or fired upwards via the heavy version to knock the opponent out of the sky and help in combos. Urien can also charge the metallic sphere to add an extra hit to the projectile, which can help out with specific situations and combos. To magnify the metallic sphere, Urien needs to have his V-skill 2, Indignant Thunder, equipped. This amplifies the projectile by giving it slightly more damage and stun. It also changes some properties to allow more attractive combos, strengthen his pressure sequences, or re-establish control in the neutral game. Metallic Sphere is a decent special for Urien, but it's still a projectile. If Urien wants to enhance any of his other specials, then he'll need to pick V-Skill 1, Metallic Aura. This coats Urien with metal skin and endows one hit of armor to the next special attack between Dangerous Headbutt, Violent Knee Drop, or Chariot Tackle. The armored versions of Chariot Tackle and Dangerous Headbutt can help counter single-hitting projectiles and get Urien closer to the opponent, but they can also assist in dealing with long-range attacks due to being a much safer way to approach certain opponents. Metallic Aura takes a while to activate, so Urien needs to be careful where he uses it. To really bring out the creativity in Urien, players will want to use his V-Trigger 1, Aegis Reflector. Serving as a multi-purpose tool, this is used to extend combos, create dangerous mix-up scenarios, and even help Urien safely use his V-skills. There's a plethora of possibilities to open up opponents with the Aegis, which makes it difficult for characters to make the correct defensive choice against Urien. Aegis Reflector is one of the biggest comeback factors in Street Fighter V, and a strong option for Urien. Over Street Fighter V's lifespan, Urien had some drastic changes applied to him due to how overwhelming he could be as a character. His combo potential is fun to explore, but also difficult to commit to muscle memory. The biggest downside to Urien is that he has difficulties defending himself without spending vital resources. If you like characters that dress the part and dislike their older brother, then pick Urien and witness true aggression. Akuma, or Goki, the stoic, unemotional warrior who's adamant on mastering the Satsui no Hado. Similar to the likes of Ryu and Ken, Akuma also uses the Shotokan fighting style, but uses it with the intent of completely overwhelming the opponent and preventing any counters. In Street Fighter V, Akuma remains an offensive monstrosity, and his V-system aims to complement that aspect whilst giving him a few options that clearly distinguish him from the other Shotos. Akuma has several buttons that are highly respected, one of them being his crouching medium punch. This is one of Akuma's main pressure tools and is his bread and butter starter. When it comes to pressure, this button is terrifying when Akuma staggers it, as it gives him a lot of advantage to work with on block. And when he does find that opening, he can quickly send the opponent to the corner via different combo routes. Another good button in Akuma's arsenal is his standing medium kick. This is one of the fastest medium attacks with decent range in Street Fighter V. Whilst not having the same kind of pressure as crouching medium punch on block, standing medium kick is a very good counter-poking tool and is excellent at catching moves that linger out for too long. With buttons like these, Akuma can dominate on the ground that much easier. When it comes to the air in Street Fighter V, Akuma has one of the best aerial approaches in the game. One unique air option Akuma has is his air projectile, Zanku Hadoken. This is all about high risk, high reward, and gives the opponent something to consider when Akuma takes to the air. If the Zanku hits, then Akuma gets rewarded greatly, as it's one of his most damaging aerial options. However, the downside is that Akuma leaves himself exposed due to being airborne, so the opponent can punish him upon landing. Akuma also has his infamous option, the Hyakushu, aka the Demon Flip. This launches Akuma into the air from the ground and gives him multiple options: a powerful palm strike, a pseudo dive kick, an air grab, or a slide to befuddle the opponent. Demon Flip is one of Akuma's staple tools, and is the perfect embodiment of how crazy his aerial game can be. If Akuma wants to get his offense started from a defensive situation, then he can use his V-Skill 1, Rakan. This puts Akuma into a defensive stance that has armored properties. From here, Akuma can go into either his grounded palm strike, Rakan Gosho, or his kick launcher, Rakan Gokyaku. Rakan is insanely useful when Akuma is being pressured, as it allows him to parry attacks and turn things around, or counter moves like projectiles or certain long-range attacks in the mid-range. Rakan is one of the more well-rounded V-skills in Street Fighter V, as it's used both offensively and defensively, again highlighting how much variety Akuma has. To unlock the full potential of the Satsui no Hado, Akuma should use his V-Trigger 1, Dohatsu Shoten. This blesses Akuma with a few buffs. His regular projectiles now become two-hitting, both on the ground and in the air. His uppercut, Go-Shoryuken, does more damage and grants him a much better situation on knockdown. But the most significant addition is that this unlocks his famous super, the Raging Demon, which is done with a specific button sequence. Raging Demon is one of the highest damaging critical arts in Street Fighter V, and Akuma can land it in a number of situations, so make sure you're not on the receiving end of this. A good way to describe Akuma is to think of him as a glass cannon. He has multiple potent moves that give a huge reward. The biggest detriment, however, is that Akuma has one of the lowest health and stun stats in the game, which is a fair exchange for a toolset like his. If you like boss characters and hate weaklings, then pick Akuma and seek to be the best version of yourself. Kolin, the conniving agent of the secret society, working as Gil's personal assistant. Kolin's first appearance in Street Fighter was actually in New Generation as a non-playable character, but she became playable as part of the second wave of DLC in Street Fighter V. Kolin's fighting style is based on the Russian martial art Sistema, which involves things like close quarters combat and endurance techniques. That, combined with the cryokinetic powers gifted to her by Gil, makes Kolin a menacing character. Kolin has an array of annoyingly good kick attacks, one of those being her sniping kick. This is a heavy attack which serves as one of Kolin's main pokes, and can be hard to counter when spaced correctly. When Kolin has the correct resources available, she can get decent damage from this poke, which forces the opponent to respect it in certain situations. When it comes to Kolin's punch normals though, her standing heavy punch is one of her best buttons. This is a really obnoxious heavy due to the reward on hit, and since it's special cancelable, it's a powerful tool to have in the neutral game because when it connects, most of the subsequent options lead to a knockdown, which is why this button is highly revered. Whether it be a poke or a more offensive button, Kolin's normals should not be taken lightly. Now when it comes to gaining a lot of mileage from a special move, Kolin's EX Parabolum is a great example. This is probably Kolin's most used special, as there are various ways into the Parabolum and a multitude of positive outcomes. To get to those outcomes, Kolin will want to cancel into her unique backstep, Vanity Step. This is 3 different versions. The light and medium versions keep Kolin grounded to allow her to get damage extensions and set up pressure sequences, whilst the heavy version launches her into the air to allow her to combo into her air throw. Vanity Step works incredibly well with EX Parabolum to ensure that Kolin can always mix up what she does. Delving deeper into Kolin's toolkit, another great move is Kolin's projectile, Hailstorm. This doesn't work like traditional projectiles in Street Fighter games, as it comes down at an angle from the air, similar to Akuma's air fireball. Kolin can combo into the Hailstorm to cause a knockdown and have the actual projectile come down at a later point, or she can try to use it from a distance to help her have an easier time approaching the opponent. The Hailstorm comes down from different ranges depending on the button strength used. Now, the regular version of Hailstorm only summons 1 projectile, but EX Hailstorm summons 2. This can be used in similar situations as its regular counterparts, but the meter will most likely be saved for other situations. To show the full extent of her ice powers, Kolin can use her V-Trigger 2, Absolute Zero. This is the more problematic V-Trigger of her choices. Once activated, Absolute Zero magnifies Kolin's punch normals and enlarges her Hailstorm special. Absolute Zero completely reinvented Kolin and gave her a different dynamic going into matches. Not only does it solidify her gameplay, but it also acts as Kolin's main comeback factor. Kolin is another well-balanced character in Street Fighter V. However, one of her biggest issues is navigating traditional projectiles, as she's forced to take unnecessary risks in an attempt to get her game going. Despite having answers, it does take a bit of time for them to be available. If you're looking for a well-rounded character with an icy twist, then pick Kolin and send chills down the opponent's spine. Thank you for watching. These character overviews are made possible by our generous patrons. For $1 a month, you can help support projects like this, and also get bonuses like early access to videos, and your name listed here. Up next is Ed, Abigail, and Minat.